Yeah, it's really amazing. And just another satisfying thing is to see that how many people you help and you see the reviews and it's astounding to see, I lost this amount of weight and 20, 30, 40, 50. I mean, stories of 100 pounds. It's just incredible to see how their life is completely turned around.
Welcome back to another episode of Founders Club. I'm your host, Dez DeCosta. In this episode, I'm joined by Mitch Horn, the CEO of LifeRx. He brings a wealth of experience from marketing to drive his company's success. Mitch transformed LifeRx to a national presence, harnessing the power of effective marketing and customer service to achieve growth. He opens up about challenges and the importance of perseverance. Keep listening for more. Welcome back to another episode of Founders Club. Today I'm speaking with Mitch Horn, CEO of LifeRx. Mitch, welcome. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you today.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Amazing. Well, I'd love to learn more about you. We're going to dive into your entire story. Just why don't you give us the quick elevator pitch of who you are and what you do?
Okay, so I'm the CEO of LifeRx, and I come from a marketing sales background, and one of the most I was always in telecommunications prior to this industry, and what's really most important is to how to communicate with somebody. That's kind of what we did in the communications world, and then coming from the marketing sales, we implemented pretty much the same ideas that are already out there, but we had to put it into this vertical. And how do you communicate with the prospect? How do you communicate with the prospect? And that's what we've honed in on. And that's what makes us unique is our ability to communicate effectively and quickly. The idea in the beginning was to take clinics and expand their marketing, you know, and then as we were going along, we saw an opportunity that came along, and we seized it. It was actually came at a really good time. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I was writing scripts, getting in front of a green screen, really just doing a lot of the grassroots, to get this, not really even knowing the direction exactly, but kind of working hard, 18-hour days. And lo and behold, we've gotten to, we started to get into the GLP market, the weight loss, and it's been great. We were actually in it before people even knew what it was. So I was kind of banging my head against the wall trying to explain to people, oh, by the way, there's this, GLP injection that you could lose weight. And then once the celebrities came out and said, hey, by the way, this is what we take to look fit and gorgeous, then everything started to just really snowball from there. So
Right, that was definitely the catalyst, is when a lot of celebrities were coming out with this flashy, new, cool, trendy thing to do. So we're gonna get into a lot more of that in just a second. But let me take it back a little bit. How did you get started as an entrepreneur?
like I said, I started in telecom, and then worked for a few phone carriers in the beginning of my career, right out of college. And then in about 2004, 2005, started my own telecommunications company, which uh which was great. We had just really profitable, and we had really strong years, dedicated on the voice business. And then we just had, as the price of equipment came down, we saw an opportunity to get in the market in the voice business. And we did that, and then we just kind of built out from there. And just another time in my life where things have started to like really explode, and really a lot of growth right away. So that was my first experience in the real, doing my own business as an entrepreneur, like my own telecom
Okay,
company.
fantastic. Wow, so you had worked in telecom, and then after that, was it LifeRx, or were there other steps along the way?
There were a bunch of steps.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So once the I was doing telecommunications for a while, I would say even 2017, and then took a little bit of a break from it. I did high profile collections business. We worked on And then I really started to read a lot of books, a lot of marketing books. What you learn in college isn't necessarily, or whatever, even along the way, I had to really educate myself on different things, from, let's say, for the last 7 years, I've been reading a lot of books. So I started marketing different products, and they weren't working. And then I started marketing, it was an online course for a chaplain's course for the military, the number one endorser. And that's when, really honed in our skills to do videos and just doing the sales. I kind of did everything, got on the phone, really honed in on those skills and try to apply them to today's, the social media. I wasn't really so big into social media prior to this. I really had to expand my horizons. We kind of, when we started this business, we kind of took the old school approach of taking a good product and marketing it properly, and just doing the things you need to do. Like,
Amazing. Well, yeah, there were many stepping stones, it sounds like, to get to LifeRx and this venture. Where did the actual idea for LifeRx come from?
well, it was going to be for just marketing clinics, but then we realized that, wait a second, we can't, the radius is what, 20 miles for these clinics. So we had the idea to build it out on a national level. And then once we realized that, we could do that with the marketing, then it just kind of opened up, just a lot more opportunities, because you're not limited to just, a 20-mile radius around a physical clinic.
How did you get your first customer? I know you mentioned a lot about marketing. What was the strategy behind getting your first customer?
Well, by this time we've already mastered the whole, Facebook. Facebook has been really strong. That was pretty much how we got in our first customer, through Facebook and advertisements. We just had the idea of putting some videos together. Not even super amazing at first. I thought it was amazing, but people are like, oh, you're not gonna be able to do. There's always the naysayers out there. Oh, this is not gonna do anything. But lo and behold, we put a lot of effort into it, and we kept pushing, and we've kept, making our videos better and better. And yeah, so our first customers came in through our advertising.
When you folks launched LifeRx, how long did it take for you to start generating business?
We started pretty much right away. We put the money into the advertising, but we also, right away, we were just, once you get the lead comes in, the question is, what do you do with the lead after that? Everybody can bring a lead in. Once you bring a lead in, how do you transfer that lead into a sale, or,
Right.
or, make them a customer? So that's really what that was the next step. Really, okay, we knew how to bring the leads in, but how do we now, communicate effectively and bring them in and be able to produce that on a mass level. So
Yeah, so you guys hit the ground running with leads and were able to funnel them into sales as well. When you were starting out, was there ever a time you doubted it would work? And how did you manage that?
in healthcare, there's always bumps along. In any business, there's always bumps along the road. I think we were really good at just, pivoting when we had to, and making the right moves. We read a lot, we see a lot of the market, we study the market, we kind of see where it's going. We talk to a lot of people, and we just, make those decisions as we go along. But did I ever doubt it? No, I didn't doubt it. And I'll tell you why. Because once it works in one industry, it pretty much works for all industries. It's just the same. It's just reproducing it for healthcare, you know, and weight loss. So yeah, it happened. Sometimes when you first start, you want to see immediate results, but it took time to build up. It took time, and I think being patient and sticking with it. That's what. But did I ever doubt it? Was always very hopeful. I
Mhm.
tried a lot of things in the last, let's say, 10 years. And they were okay. They were decent, but nothing like this. This is a whole different ball game. We're really, really pleased with, the way it developed.
Yeah, this industry has really blown up in the last, I would say, even 2 years. I want to dive deeper into who you are as an entrepreneur as well. What does your typical day look like, and how do you make it productive?
Get a lot of the busy work out of the way when it's early in the morning and it's quiet. I could think. I don't know why my brain works best. Between the hours of, let's say, 5 and 7 a.m. Get a lot of the busy stuff out of the way before I start, interacting with some of the people we work with and some of the prospects and customers. Like I said, we put in 18 hours a day. It doesn't stop. Every time I think we could slow down a little bit, it becomes bigger and just more work. Like there's never enough hours in a day to get things done. So I try to work pretty much all the time. If I'm productive and I spend the hours, then you're definitely going to see the benefits. That's what I could say.
Absolutely. I definitely believe that as well. Okay, well, how do you bring your ideas to life? You mentioned having gone through multiple different business ventures, and I'm sure in those environments and experiences, you have created your own process to bring your ideas to life. What does that look like for you?
I mean, the ideas, everybody has ideas, and there are a lot of good ideas. Just I think the better question is how do you execute on those ideas, right? How do you execute and make it successful? So, in the beginning, I've had ideas where you do something and just to kind of became a failure or just didn't work out. I think you just can't give up. So the ideas usually come late at night or early in the morning, and also once I get the idea, really just start doing the research and understanding where I need to get to execute on that idea. And listen, we all get ideas. It's just a matter of choosing what's going to work. I like usually when you choose an idea, you want to find out if it's going to work within 60 days. Otherwise, you don't want to spend 2 years working on something and realize it's a disaster.
Right. No, that's so true. The quicker you take action on something, the quicker you can determine whether or not it's worth investing more time in. So I
Right.
think that's what you're trying to say. So perfect. Well, what's one trend that excites you? And this can be any kind of trend, or you can hone in on, the industry that you work in or a marketing trend. What does that look like for you?
Hmm. The trends, actually, truth is, this is the first time I've actually been I was in the business before it became a trend or it became popular or it became it's kind of like Zoom during COVID. I don't know if they expected to get the
Got
turnout.
it.
So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's kind of like this is my first time of being even in telecommunications. I kind of always missed the big, in the year 2000 kind of missed that big boom where it was the stock play and everybody had a lot of stock and everything was going great in telecom and kind of a little bit younger for that, so I kind of missed that boat. And then ran decent businesses over the years, except this is my first time in a trend actually. So I'm really excited about that. I don't really what's on the horizon. I mean, I'm super laser focused on this as it takes a tremendous amount of time and effort.
Yeah, you're shedding a lot of knowledge on us right now. What's one habit of yours that makes you more productive as an entrepreneur?
I like to bike. I like to go bicycling. It helps me clear my mind. Go mountain biking. I enjoy that. So that's one thing that really helps me just think a little clearer and try to relax from the stresses of life.
Great answer. I think it's very important to be able to have your outlets with how demanding I'm sure business can be, having your outlet to ensure that you're living a balanced life. What advice would you give your younger self?
Don't give up. You could do this. There's a light at the end of the tunnel because sometimes you get really dismayed when you have ideas and you try to execute on them and then you realize like, wait a second, I just been chasing my tail and you're kind of all over the place. And yeah, the idea was there, but I would say that first you can't give up and you can't give up hope because guess what? There's always something great out there. You just have to tap into it. That's what I would say. Thank God I've had a lot of success in most, telecom and whatever I really put effort into, to get to, we've had success. But yeah, I would tell myself that not to give up and don't get down. Keep pushing.
Thank you for that. Awesome. As an entrepreneur, what is one thing you do over and over and recommend everyone else do?
I like to read a lot of books and a lot of articles. I read a lot of the business news, like Economist, and just to see where things are heading. Um, Constantly reading articles, educating myself, you know, reading more marketing books, reading just, some of the older books out there that, the marketing methods and sales methods haven't really changed. It's just the medium in which we, put it out there. So I like to really try to educate myself on reading a lot of marketing books. That's really what helps me.
And what would be your favorite book?
Um,
All-time favorite marketing book?
I like the book The Think and Grow Rich. I like that book. That was always a good one. There's so many things in there that you read the story of Henry Ford and how he started. It's incredible. It just you kind of help me think in different ways. The Tipping Point, also books like that really kind of play with your mind a little bit. What if
Mm.
somebody's strengths are really their weaknesses, or really their weaknesses are their strengths? You know, like
Yeah.
kind of does like a David and Goliath story.
All right, perfect. Well, I have a couple more questions here to pick your brain a little bit. What's the toughest decision you've had to make in the past few months?
Kind of go through everything is a big decision. I feel like every move should I put this out or do it this way, hire this, just do this email marketing campaign. I mean, yeah, I also it's a matter of like trust. It's when you partner or you do business with people, whether it's your vendors or whomever, there's this element of trust that needs to be there. Work really hard at building trust, except that, sometimes in life you get burned. And this is like, previously, so you're always got your guard up. So I like to say sometimes it's to have faith and trust in, who you're dealing with. Obviously, you have to trust your instinct, but sometimes those decisions to work with the right person or partner, with some of the vendors, you want to make sure that it's the right move, not the hardest decision, but that it's the right decision.
Now, on the flip side, what has been your most satisfying moment in business?
The most satisfying moments is actually having things work and you can see the results, seeing the results of your hard work. So that's really satisfying. A lot of times sometimes you feel like a spinning wheel, like you're putting all this effort in and you're getting nowhere. But then all of a sudden things start to work. You see the sales coming in, you see all the hard work that goes into everything, and your bank account is going north. So that's the most satisfying to me is looking how it was maybe 4 years ago or 3 years ago, and then looking now where what we've achieved. Yeah, it's really amazing. And just another satisfying thing is to see that how many people you help and you see the reviews and when you look back, you can see how many people were helped along the journey. And it's astounding to see, I lost this amount of weight and this is where I'm at now. And people, 20, 30, 40, 50. I mean, stories of 100 pounds. It's an incredible to see how their life is completely turned around. And that's also really just, going back to the satisfying, I find a lot of satisfaction in that.
Awesome. Well, we are coming to the end of the interview here. I have some rapid fire questions to ask you. Let's dive right into that. What is
Sure.
one business idea that you're willing to give away to listeners?
Anything in healthcare I think is really good. I always tell my kids that, like I said, just, slow and steady. So to what kind of, you know, to become I think anything in healthcare is good. Not that I have like such a business idea, but in terms of working for a company, healthcare is always around. But like, yeah, I don't know if I have any necessarily have any, real real business idea. Everything
Okay.
really wrapped around the marketing and sales. And it's kind of like whatever idea you have, if you could crack the marketing and sales, which is the hardest part of any business, you know, then
Mhm.
you could really accomplish pretty much anything in a successful industry.
All right, so we're gonna tie this episode all back together. What does the future hold for you and your business? What are you most excited about?
You know, every day just building brick by brick. So yeah, I'm excited that to, bring on more clients. That's really what I'm excited about and to get better at what we do. Just to keep growing. It's kind of this wheel and this machine that's just kind of taking on a life of its own. And you're just feeding it and feeding it. The groundwork has been built. So I'm excited that in the industry that's growing rapidly, we're touching at people's real sensitive points and we're actually helping them. I'm excited to help many, many more people.
Thank you so much for your time. We are now coming to the closing of this interview here. Where can people find you or learn more about LifeRx?
They can go, we've got a ton of Google reviews. They can go to our website, LifeRx .md. You could we're pretty noticeable out there. So if you just want to do some searches, you can see that way. And you could always call us. The number's there and get in touch with us. And I'd be happy to get on the phone with anybody if they wanted to talk.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today, and can't wait to see how this company grows and has continued success. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.